Well, hello there, you beautiful thoughts, and welcome to my channel, or welcome back. Today I want to break down and discuss my opinions and analyses on the main points and arguments presented by Nick DeOrio versus Repzilla. Do not, take this too seriously. I mean, at the end of the day, they're arguing about drama and tea, so none of it really matters at all, but it's a teachable moment, as they would say. Don't send hate or harassment to anybody, and if you like it, show it, comment, subscribe, share, whatever your thing is. Enjoy.
Do you think there's anything objectively wrong with reading an article and like saying that someone has a nice shirt? Like, do you think that Gabby did anything wrong now?
Back then.
In that context, no.
In the context of like understanding what's going on, like in 2020, would you make 2021? Would you make the video you guys made in 2020?
Well, the context is different from then to now, but it would be difficult not to make that video because her reputation and her track record is just so bad. You can't.
But what does her track record have to do with the fact that she opened up an article and said a girl had a nice shirt on?
Okay, from the get-go, their misunderstanding comes from their point of perspective, not necessarily any arguments made yet at this point. Basically, Nicholas is saying that in a standalone case, is Gabbiana objectively wrong? If you consider absolutely nothing else except for this case, in which he definitely has a point. I mean, if we were to consider the law, everything is a case-by-case basis. You cannot judge somebody for a previous case in determining the right and wrongness of a specific act. That's his point. Repzilla is trying to argue, not even counter it, just his perspective, his position, is that this is the straw that broke the camel's back, essentially, right? So if you take all the other teeny tiny little receipts that we have of previous pattern of behavior, previous reasons why we should automatically dislike her and not give her any sense of the benefit of the doubt, within that context, his response seems rational. Now, the issue here is that whether or not we're considering our moral intuition and whether or not, you give somebody the benefit of the doubt, that's a completely different argument than whether they would be right or wrong within the eyes of the law, right? So within the eyes of the law, again, it's the case-by-case basis. It's completely within its own right, and in that sense, Nicholas is right. But if the community who already demonized Gabby for valid or invalid reasons, make up your own mind on that, poor morality and of questionable ethics, and you see this as a pattern, then of course you wouldn't just assume automatically that she made a mistake or that she was in the right or give her any sense of benefit of doubt. So immediately their premises, their get-go is on different playing fields. So there's no conclusion that they could reach in which they would agree because their perspectives are different.
Story comes out. This is a story that's very public. These pictures were spread out all over social media, all over Twitter.
Absolutely.
This was being covered by Philip DeFranco, multiple other people. I covered it in a news type setting as well.
Yep.
And then, not too long after that, Gabby Hanna, who I've also covered, and this is right around the same. And it's interesting because it was right around the same time that this Jesse Smile situation happened.
Deflection. This is deflection. It's deflection.
Should I play?
This is a trap. This is fully a trap. I'm letting you know that I'm trapping you.
So just a little side note, the difference between a debate and a philosophical investigation is that in a debate, which this very much is that you want to prove that you're right. That is the point. You choose your position and you fight until the bitter end, right? In philosophy, instead, we care about finding the truth, whether or not you are right or wrong. And in fact, when you're engaging in good philosophy, you want to take your own position and find out where you yourself are wrong. So this is very much a debate, so I'm not even going to address that point that Nicholas just made there, because it is a debate and I will give it to him because there's nothing to discuss philosophically. There's no point being made or argument or anything. It is entrapment, and that is the point here. So this is not supposed to be a criticism against Nick. I don't want anybody to raise that point.
So it's hard for me to talk on it because look, I consider you a friend. I don't know how you fucking feel about me, especially, I guess you think I'm a teach-in or whatever, but it's like, I don't want to make you mad.
Okay, this is straight up where our homeboy Repzilla just completely lost the plot. This is an appeal to emotion, which is an embarrassing fallacy because like literally nobody cares. And the thing is appeal to emotion could maybe work if you're trying to manipulate somebody who does care about you, which is all things that I would never ever attribute to Nicholas DeOrio. I mean, he literally even says it, but even if he didn't, internet friends are not real friends. Come on.
And then what she's doing is she's paying attention. She's going through this article, and then she comes to this part of the article where it says what this article piece is about in bold. And this right around the context is that right around this time, this is a huge story. Everybody's talking about this. This hurt a lot of people. A lot of people were scarred from this. It's really sensitive. So you have two different things. It's important to know that you have the tragedy that happened.
Yep.
Then you have the Jesse Smiles thing that she's in a controversy for. She's not being seen in the best light.
Okay.
Because it's come out that she's manipulative and all this other stuff. She's already been drugged all over by commentary channels. And then she does this. And I guess one of the things that people were upset for is like, how does she see this? Because this was such a big story. And then it makes it through editing and all this other stuff. My criticism was, I don't believe that she couldn't have seen it. I think that she saw it.
All right, so your criticism is she didn't read the article.
Okay, finally we reach Repzilla's point. Okay. What he was saying here, his logical point, is that since Gabbiana is in charge of the entire editing process of the work that she puts out there, and people should be held accountable for the work that they put out there, it is in fact her full responsibility to make sure that every single thing is vetted and accurately demonstrated to what within her realms of morality. And therefore, since she failed to do so, she put up something that she later retracted. She was objectively in the wrong, and she had an error, and she should have been criticized for that. That is his argument.
Yes.
Okay, you didn't read the article. You called it a murder article in your video. It's literally an article on e-girls with one tiny paragraph at the bottom of the page. So I know when you made the video, you didn't read the article either. So I don't know how you could apply that criticism to literally anybody in this situation.
Okay, Nick's point here is literally, well, you too, right? Which means that if we were to accept Repzilla's premise or his argument that he just made, which is that Gabbiana is guilty because she's in charge of her produced and monetized content, and she should be held accountable if anything within her content does not uphold this moral standard. Repzilla did literally exactly the same by putting out content that was inaccurate, and therefore should be criticized in exactly the same light with exactly as much strength and critique and disgust in which he criticized Gabbiana. So, in other words, we're seeing a case of irony.
Because you called it a murder article, and it's literally like midway towards the bottom of the article, and the whole article is addressing just regular e-girls. It's like e-girls, what they wear, how they look, and then it's like at the bottom, violence against e-girls. It's like a section, it's a sub-header of the actual entire article. Like if you look at it, it's not like Bianca Devins was murdered, it's e-girls. That's what the article is.
Now, in order for Nicholas DeOrio to have a valid argument at this point, we have to agree on the premise that the reason why Repzilla referred to this article as a murder article was because he thought it was in fact a murder article, instead of realizing that it is just an article about e-girls, but he tried to clickbait it. So at best, I would say, at best, the assumption would be that Repzilla blew it up. He tried to clickbait, which is not a great position, especially about something that he claims now he's taking very seriously and is very sensitive about. So at very best, he clickbaited it. At worst, he didn't actually do any kind of research with regards to the actual article. So therefore, on a moral standpoint alone, Repzilla did something very questionable, which at the very least he should apologize for just putting out bad content. I mean, that's just straight up embarrassing.
Like I said, when I first made the video, when the video first starts, I go over it and I say this. She was talking about how to turn into an e-girl. Again, no disrespect to the family that I'm having to bring this up again, but that's what I said. And then after you guys came at me, you and Tommy specifically, like, I listened to you and I went back and I changed the title of the video, and I did this because I'm listening to you. I don't know if it's you guys came at me. I feel like you came at me a little bit harder than the other people. I don't know. I mean, I think it might be because I'm a little bit more easily accessible to you guys. You can just reach out and you can talk to me, which you should have did in the first place.
Yeah, I don't give a shit. I don't operate like that.
Repzilla is introducing a new argument here where he states that if you are internet friends, which is something okay, then you owe somebody the courtesy of letting them know in private that something that they did is wrong. But here's the problem. Even if he's correct on that front, even if Nicholas agreed with him in that regard, he concluded that based on the criticisms, he should change the title of his video. That was never the argument that Nicholas put forward here. Referred to the previous part of this video, I guess. But essentially, the argument is that the criticism that Gabby Hanna received was not fair, not accurate, and Repzilla's takeaway was to change the title of the video, which does not make sense. That doesn't change any of the arguments at all. So even if Nicholas did message Repzilla behind the scenes, it literally does not change the content of the video for which he's being criticized. So this again falls flat as an argument. I'm sorry, Rep. I think in the end of the day, it's pretty clear that Nicholas is a complete asshole, and he's also totally right and won this argument. Take the W, my dude, and Repzilla, exactly the opposite for you. If you like this format of breaking down the arguments made by YouTubers in their videos, please let me know with a like, share, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see your thoughts in the next one. Peace.
Bye, sisters.